Wolves favored by 4.5. Minnesota won both of their game ones against Phoenix and Denver. The Mavs have lost both of their game ones against the Clippers and OKC, but they meet tonight. So who is game one more important for?
Well, definitely Minnesota.
Oh, wow. We agree.
No question. I mean, first of all, you're at home.
Yep.
All right. Secondly, I don't even know what the favorite are. They should be the favorite in the series.
Favored by 4.5.
But in
and
the series,
for the series,
yeah. So they're the favorite in the series. All right, I would think whether I know the numbers or not,
more,
they should be the favorites, right? And then, Dallas 0-5 in game ones under Jason Kidd. That's their last 5 game ones. They come back to win 4 of those series. So if Dallas loses, they're going to be fine. Now, all that said, Nick, and I think you guys have to agree with this, Minnesota's shown it. If they lose tonight, I think you'd be crazy to write them off.
I totally
I mean,
agree
they showed you against Denver, they are not into negative momentum. They will not succumb to negative momentum. So if Dallas were to win the first 2, I don't think you could just say it's over because we saw what they did against Denver. It would be somewhat bleak. I mean, obviously they'd have everything going for them.
Yeah.
But still, this team, who would have thought they would have come back from down 3-2?
Sure.
All right, so, but all that said, it's more important for us.
Yeah, I think the reasons you said is why I agree. Luka loses game 1, man. Even pre-J Kidd. I think Luka's won. There's been one series the Mavs have won game 1 since he's been there, and it's the game 1 he missed. I think that's accurate.
Wow.
When he was out injured against Utah.
Brunson.
Right, and Brunson played great. Typically, they don't win game 1. Minnesota's at home, and this is where, there was a really dumb meme going around the internet yesterday, which was a picture of Kyrie and LeBron and a picture of Kyrie and Luka. And it was like, Kyrie didn't want to follow him, but is fine following him. I wonder what changed. And the answer is 7 years, man.
Were they trying to make that racial?
I have no idea what they were trying to make it. Whatever it was stupid. But the point is, the guy grew up. And Kyrie Irving is a different person than he was 7 years ago. I think he's a different person than he was 2 years ago. And so the reason I say that's for this. I don't think Kyrie's going to let them get emotionally unsettled by a loss. I think Kyrie Irving is the steady hand of this team. And it is, I have been as vocal of a Kyrie critic of his, post-Cavs journey as anybody. I am the one who last year picked the Mavs to win the title, and then when they got Kyrie said, well, now they can't, because I thought he was so antithetical to winning. He has been a great leader this year, and because Luka is so emotionally combustible, I think he is a great wingman for that for the other players on the team. And so I'm not worried about if the Mavs lose game 1, where their head's going to be at, because Kyrie is going to be able to credibly talk about being down 3-1, talk about the length of the series, those things. So that's where I think it's definitely more important for Minnesota, and to make it clear that they didn't just win their championship. The thing with Minnesota is you're always worried when you have that huge victory that a lot of people thought was impossible, that no one could beat them in 7-game series, all those things, that they don't have a championship letdown because it's not true.
All right, Wilds.
What?
It's the moment of truth.
I'm not ready yet.
You won't do a pick?
I'm not ready yet.
The series starts tonight.
This is you guys at the bar be like, hey, man, you need to get back out there.
Yeah.
I'm not ready yet, guys. I'm not ready yet.
Well,
she's cute. Seriously, you'll like her.
I'm not ready.
You'll like her.
I'm not ready. Rodgers is back and focused at Jets practice through 3 touchdowns. Can you believe that? Wow. So much for that Jets defense. Next on FS1, the Fox Sports Channel.
That's not fair.
He looks good, Wild.
The defense getting lit up.
Well,
I thought you guys both made good points.
Predictions.
36-12 for Tatum in the win. So why did his game feel a little bit off? Well, here he is post-game.
I think just mentally understanding that, I've had spurts throughout big games where I didn't hit shots or shoot the ball well. But it's as simple as just, believing that the next one is going in. And I always feel like I'm one make away, from being hot or being in a great rhythm.
Okay, here's how he got to 36. 2 for 7 in the fourth. He was 0 for 4 in the final 9:30 of the fourth. Also, just eye test wise, it's kind of like, here you go, Derek White.
Yeah.
Here you go, Jaylen Brown. Why don't you take care of it?
Late.
Yeah.
So do you feel better or worse about Tatum?
I mean, it's worse. I mean, you know what it reminded me of a bit? People kind of memory hold this game, but Game 6 last year, round 2 against Philly. Philly's up 3-2. It's after the 2 great Harden games, and Tatum started that game 1 for 14. And Philly couldn't take control, couldn't create separation despite that. And then the final 3 minutes, Tatum hit 4 threes, finished 5 for 21. Boston wins the game. And to me, it was similar to last night, which is Tatum was miserable in that fourth quarter and then wasn't good at the start of overtime. And then about halfway through overtime, all of a sudden, Wright got the and one, hit a 3, got a couple more free throws, and all of a sudden there's 8 quick points in overtime, and the Celtics win. And I don't think he's the hero, because Jaylen Brown is the hero, in my opinion, of the game. But he was the best guy in the overtime. But there are too many moments like this where it just feels like the Celtics don't have that guy. And this is something that Celtics fans kill our friend Colin Cowherd for, because he's been saying it all year. There is no shame in being the 7th or 8th best player in the sport. The problem is, all of NBA history tells us if you're the 7th or 8th best player in the sport, you're probably not going to win a title. Now, the Celtics are trying to overcome that, but that's the issue is once you get typically to this round, this year it's not the case for them, somebody that's in that 5 or 6 best players is on the other side of the court. And next round it will be. So, no, I don't feel better about Jason Tatum's game.
Yeah, I think to your point, Nick, now, and I have not really questioned this before, because I guess his youth, and he's still only 26, so maybe he'll grow and improve. But now I think you really have to question, can he be the best player on a championship team? I mean, there are aberrations when Chauncey Billups and the Detroit Pistons and Gus Williams, as you showed yesterday, and the Supersonics back in 1979. But generally, you need to be a great player, an all-time great to lead your team. So I think that is up for question. Now, look, maybe he'll answer that this year. But right now, that's got to be a question. Let me just say this, though, on behalf of Jason Tatum. This is what we're ripping. 36 points, game high, 12 rebounds, team high, and a game high plus 20. And I get it. In the fourth quarter, he missed some bad shots. I'm tired of seeing the fade away when you don't need to fade. Like coaches would say, go strong to the hoop with your momentum. Fade away is a great shot, but you don't always have to fade, okay? But beyond that, I want to give him credit because we know what his challenge has been, right? Clutch. Last night, Nick, it wasn't like that game was over when he scored 8 points in the last minute 12. All right? 8. I mean, it wasn't over. They were down. That layup we showed where he got fouled, that gave them the lead. They went on a 12-5 game-ending run. He had 8 of the points.
Yes, but if not for the Pacers self-immolating, his clutch numbers from last night are 0 for 3 in the final 90 seconds.
Okay, but then you have to regroup and say, okay, I've been missing shots. Again, I'm not trying to say he was great and everybody's wrong about this, but I'm saying we can't overlook what he did at the end of that game.
Only 8 ass-stocks. So, I mean, I think 5 assists, 3 steals, no blocks. So I think I'm doing that math.
It might have been a team high, though.
Can I show real quick, Wild? Because I think this is what you were alluding to when you were like, he didn't feel comfortable. This was in overtime, this turnover, where
he's trying to get out of his hand. This looks like me. That's how I play.
mean, it was just like somebody that it just doesn't feel like the guy. And the point that and this is where it sounds odd, but if you just go back decades at a time and say, okay, 7th or 8th best guy, you know what I mean, of any given moment, like 20 years ago, that probably was Chris Webber with the Kings. That's a great player. That's a great all-NBA level player.
Webber was probably even higher.
Right. 30 years ago, was it Drexler with the Blazers? Like a great